certainly sounds like you know what you're talking about. Your concepts are very interesting and they make a lot of sense. Can you explain to me why the newspapers, I want to show you some headlines in some of the newspapers, phony AIDS doc is ordered to stop. Here's another one. AIDS doctor banned from medical practice. AIDS do-it-yourself treatment, and below that is felonious herbs. A herbalist who claims to cure AIDS is nabbed. He calls arrest racist and a smear campaign. Then last but not least is Herbal Research Institute, is it being discredited? It sounds as though these institutions were out to get you. And I would like to know why it is they brought you up on charges. Was there any kind of investigation made at all into your claims that you made?
There is a kind of mania that exists on the planet today that prevent truth from being accepted, because the untruth is moving at such a tremendous momentum that truth now is in a very precarious position at this time. Because why? Example, I am the citizen of a country, and I have been engaging in certain practices of this thing we call nutrition and healing. And people that has been serviced by the Institute have claimed to have all these things reversed, and it's published. Instead of arresting this individual, it should have been investigated. Well, this is like ideally speaking. But we do not live in that society today, in such society that is ideal. We live in one that is full of anger. I was not surprised that the Attorney General would arrest me. In fact, the police, when he came into this place, he drew his gun, and I asked him, why did he have his gun drawn? He said, to surprise me. I said, but I've been waiting for you for 18 years. So you were the one that surprised, not I, because I knew you was coming. Why? One is that there is great amount of money involved in natural healing that would deprive the pharmaceutical laboratories, I suppose, because there's money to be made of those chemicals. But are we going to sacrifice the life of America and the world for the sake of chemicals? Isn't that another catch? Sure, he had to arrest me. Maybe in favor of the chemical people. Or maybe it is that he didn't know. Or another is that he placed me in the category of the previous healers that came. They didn't do anything. They didn't make any claims. They didn't do anything. So naturally, if one out of a flock of people that has not shown anything or stood up for their own rights, if they had accomplished something, well, he just part of the pack. And I was not in disagreement with the Attorney General, because he did his job. But it was his mistake by assuming that I was part of the pack. I am not part of any pack. Never has been, never could be.
Well, so in other words, what you're saying is they just assumed that you were a fraud.
They assumed that I was a fraud.
Why didn't they at least, were there any tests or any analyzations made at all, either on their part or on your part?
Again, I did not expect them to analyze the product or investigate me. I never expected that, because that is not the interest of the Caucasian. That should not be his interest. His interest is himself. And he's right, 100%. I was waiting for somebody from the black so-called community to be interested, favorable. But then I heard that all the doctors in Harlem condemned me to the penalty of villainy and wrong. So I was caught between a rock and a hard place. But I was comfortable because I knew that this existed. So what the Attorney General did was consistent. He was protecting he called himself, he was protecting the clients or the population, which is his job, but he should have investigated the USHA Research Institute before arresting me. The ad read, AIDS has been cured by the USHA Research Institute, not Sebi. Sebi is only a member. My wife plays the most important role because she's the one that makes all the compound. And she's the one why I am sitting here today. Because I was a steam engineer, very comfortable. She was the one that started healing all these diseases and doing all this stuff and have me here now in front of the world. But she's back in Puerto Rico having a ball.
Well, did you do any lab tests at all on your part? Because if you come out and make statements contrary to what the establishment makes, you should have at least backup proof to prove the statements that you're making, knowing that they're not going to go along with what you're saying. Did you do any lab?
Well, of course. We had a product sent to Lancaster Laboratories, where you would see that the amount of minerals and chemicals that they found in our product was over and above that which was on the market. So they too agreed that it could have been a possibility that this thing had the power, the energy to do what we say it was doing. But what they found in the laboratories that I was charged with was practicing medicine without a license. That was one of the charges. And in that, what happened, they found that the product contained calcium, phosphorus, oblium, gold, silver, protein, whatever they mean by that, and all the other substance that makes up the whole structure of life. So it did not fall in the category of practicing medicine. These are herbal compound known as natural vegetation cell food. The other one were that all of the diseases I claim I cured, well, the people came to the courthouse and you all gave the testimonies, all of them did. So that was also dropped. So it was a mass confusion. It was not that he was, I suppose many people want to claim that he was deliberately angry at me personally. I guess he thought he was doing his job well when he was not.
What is the difference between your herbal vegetation food and the foods we normally eat, such as hamburgers, fried chicken, chitlins, or even those who consider themselves vegetarians? Could you explain the difference?
Well, those foods, as you know, they contain acids and carbohydrates, and some people prefer to use those food groups to attain whatever mineral or nourishment they need. The difference with the USHA compounds and those other foods is that the USHA diet, the USHA compound does not allow the body to accumulate cholesterol, triglycerides, calcium carbonate in the body, which obstruct and causes all of these ailments that we call disease today. The difference is they have cholesterol and grease, and many of them are hybrid. With the USHA diet, no. We have a group of compound that is free of all carcinogens, plus the cholesterol.